Okay, so we're talking about this another very important industrial unit, the cotton textile industry, which is by far the largest industry of Pakistan because it generates the most employment. It has the greatest contribution to the GDP of Pakistan, which is 7%, and 50% of the employment opportunities of all the industrial sector are just created by the cotton textile industry. All right. One of the foremost reasons as to why the cotton textile industry is such a major industrial unit for Pakistan is because of our agroeconomy, because of the growth of raw material in Pakistan, all across the areas of Punjab and Sindh. All these areas are ideal for the growth of cotton, especially the areas around Sindh plains. All right. Hyderabad, Faisalabad, Multan, Lahore, the lower Punjab and the upper Sindh plains. All right. All of these areas are ideal for the production of cotton. This is one of the reasons why this industry is so booming. If you look at the cotton textile industry as a system, so obviously as all the industries require certain inputs in terms of the natural, physical and the human factors, you need a flat land to set up a cotton to textile mill. You need connectivity, you need a moderate climate, you need favorable government policies, capital, labor, raw materials, power supply, infrastructure, facilities, and the processes are a little different for the cotton textile industry. So the processes are and the outputs are always industry specific. They're not general. They're pretty specific to the type of industry that that we talk about. For example, yesterday we were talking about the sugar mills. Yeah, so the sugarcane industry, the sugar mills. The processes of that industry were different. So for the cotton textile industry, the processes and the outputs are definitely different. The outputs are again clothes, garments, towels, all um, the cosmetics, the garments, guys. So because the demand for these items continue to increase because of the growing population, the urbanization, a betterment of the living standards of the people. So this industry will always stay with the demand of this industry would also continue to increase with time. All right. And because Pakistan, we export our cotton textile industry products to other countries as well. This is also another reason as to why the demand for this industry is increasing. Okay, now let's look at this map. This map shows the distribution of cotton textile industries. This distribution is pretty similar to the distribution of sugar mills that we were discussing yesterday. What can you guys observe by looking at this map? An open question for everyone. How will you describe the distribution of cotton textile industry? I need any 4 points.
These are mainly located near the rivers.
Near the rivers, absolutely. And the reason for that is because the agricultural lands are alongside the rivers. Raw material is easily accessible. Most are in Punjab. Yes, you're right. Because Punjab plains, they're one of the ideal places for the growth of cotton. Yeah. So the industries are also nearby. Anything else, guys? How would you describe the distribution? None in Balochistan due to less water. Absolutely due to water scarcity. There's just one in Balochistan. Okay. They are very saturated
Located in
indoors.
Sindh.
Yes, they are in Sindh and they're pretty saturated in Sindh, yeah, alongside the river only and alongside the coastal area, the coast of Arabian Sea. And the reason could be that it's nearby the ports, yeah. So because most of the products of the cotton textile industry are exported, so having a port nearby a cotton textile factory and industry is beneficial because it's easier to export the product to other countries. Yeah, this could be a reason. Um, no, these are not the notes from Mega. I have no idea, Najim. I don't know if these notes are there on the website of Mega Lecture or not. They might be there, but if you want to access these notes, they're there on the drive. All right. Let's look at the answer now. Most of the factories are in Punjab along the rivers, River Indus, Southern and Lower Sindh, for example, Hyderabad, Karachi. It's good to give names. So when you talk about the provinces, do refer to certain cities as well. And there's one in northern Balochistan, where Quetta is the major, is the main city. Yeah, so there's only one factory over there. Okay, let's look at this question. Explain why Karachi and Faisalabad are the largest cotton manufacturing centers in Pakistan. So since we already know that most of the industries are located in Karachi and Faisalabad in Punjab and Sindh. So why these two cities, guys? Here's a question. I mean, the answer is obviously over there on the screen, but why do you think generally Faisalabad from Punjab and Karachi from Sindh, both of these areas are the largest cotton textile manufacturing centers in Pakistan? How would you explain these points? Gee, can anyone add? They're the major cities of the province, and how and what's the impact of that? The major cities, better infrastructure of yes, because they're more connected. Hmm. More capital is available because the investors are more likely to invest in these major cities. Lying near the cotton belt, absolutely. Faisalabad is the ideal location for a cotton textile industry because it is around the Indus Plains. The raw material is easily available. Karachi, on the other hand, it is not really nearby a cotton field, but because of the ports in Sindh, it becomes an ideal location. It's easier to export the cotton products from Karachi. Okay. Then obviously you can even import machinery for these mills, and that can be done through a seaport in Karachi. Yeah. Both of these cities have a very rich domestic market. Faisalabad and Karachi are the industrial hubs of the two provinces, Punjab and Sindh. So the local market is very important. You can sell these products in the local market first. Yeah. Power supply, yes. Infrastructure is fine for these industries, and labor is available, raw material is available. Both of the cities have these international airports for the trading activities. Yeah. Okay. So now, how can Pakistan maintain and increase the exports of cotton textile industry? Number one, we can make these products as value added by improving the quality, more export processing zones. So export processing zones are certain zones created by the government, and they provide certain facilities to those areas so they can improve the quality of those products uh, to be able to export them to other countries. Okay. These are the export processing zones. Governments try to favor those investors by designing favorable policies, by providing funding, initial funds to develop the industries and to those products so they can be exported to other countries. Obviously, when you compete with an open market, you definitely have to meet the international standards as well. Then you can establish more dry ports. What are dry ports, guys? Any idea? No, किसी को नहीं पता. Dry ports, trading ports on land. Yes, absolutely. Yes, you're right. And what is the function of a trading port on land? Taxation, custom clearance. Um, yes, Abdurrahman, you're right. So what happens is that, for example, imagine there's a seaport, a product. Uh, guys, just a second. All right. So saying, imagine a seaport is used for all these trading purposes. When a product arrives at a seaport, and talking about the imports here, you need those products to go through a process of custom clearance, and then that product, after having all these processes cleared with proper packaging, goes to the local markets. So a trade that's done through land, maybe a product arrives through a railway network maybe. So certain cities have these dry ports just to uh, maybe distribute the burden of the seaports and the airports. Yeah. So what happens here is that most of these ports are also used for these custom clearance activities. For example, a dry port in Faisalabad would assist all of these processes taking place in a seaport in Karachi. Yeah. So you won't have to get the customs cleared and all of these processes applied to the products immediately after they arrive in Karachi, maybe. All right. So this is what these specific dry ports are for. So by constructing more dry ports, you can definitely increase the exports. It reduces the burden on the existing ports, such as the seaports and the airports. All right. And then obviously you should have more machines to replace workers and work to get to be more efficient, to produce products in a time-saving manner. And then government incentives to the investors so they can invest in the industry, and obviously better communication, advertising, so the products can be so advertising can be useful for local markets. Yeah, if you advertise your cotton products, there's a greater chance that people, the general public within the country, will buy those products, and as a result you can gain profits by an internal, you could say, selling and purchasing. And that is how you can maintain the quality of the products, and then obviously they could be exported as well. I hope this question is clear, guys, because you guys will be attempting these questions on your own after this lecture. I have already posted the assignment on the Google Classroom, by the way. So right after the class ends, you guys will have to start attempting the assignment. Okay. All right. So what are the advantages and disadvantages of developing a cotton manufacturing industry in Pakistan? Uh, this question is from all of you guys. Myra, your point is right. You can add this point that banning child labor can prevent an export ban, because Pakistan already suffers from these trade sanctions because of the poor conditions, poor working conditions, and child labor. So if we limit the age of workers, if we disallow children to work in industries, we can definitely prevent these sanctions, and that is one way to improve the exports. Najam, you're not there on the Google Classroom because I think your registration is not clear up till now. You will have to contact the administration to get a clarity on your registration status, and then let me know. Once it's done, I will add you on the classroom. Okay. Okay, guys. So here's a question for all of you: that what are the advantages and disadvantages of developing the cotton manufacturing industry in Pakistan? I want three advantages first of all. If we develop an industry, how is it going to benefit Pakistan?
We can export it, which will increase our foreign exchange and
Increase in
make our
foreign
balance of
exchange.
payment positive.
Absolutely. A positive balance of payment and increase in foreign exchange, more job opportunities, demand for Pakistan's cotton. Okay, this point here, Isha, there's a good demand for Pakistan's cotton products in international markets. This isn't answering the advantages of developing a cotton industry. That yes, if there is a demand, you can develop the industries more, but how will that development impact Pakistan in return? Increase in GDP, yes, we can compete with other countries, creates more job opportunities. Hmm. Anything else? Less imports due to value added products. Yes, infrastructure can be improved. What sort of infrastructure? So guys, the advantages are correct. You just have to, acha nahi, the infrastructure, no, Abdurrahman, the point that I'm asking here is that what will be the advantages of developing an industry, a cotton industry in Pakistan, not the possibilities here. So the point that you're stating here by in the development of infrastructure such as roads and electricity supply, this is how you create a possibility for the development of this industry. But what I'm talking about here is that what if you've already developed an industry, how will that benefit Pakistan? Okay. So, all right. So guys, remember to develop these points as well. That, for example, if you're talking about an increase in GDP, this is not enough. You will have to develop this point properly. You can maybe write that because once we develop a cotton manufacturing industry in Pakistan, we will be able to make value added products and export them to other countries. By that, we will obviously earn more revenue, more foreign exchange, and it will contribute to the GDP of Pakistan. Okay, so this is one complete point. You're going to get 1 mark for this entire thing that I've just said. All right. It makes use of local raw material, reducing dependence on imports. Yes. Okay. Again, this is also a possibility, Isha. This is not an advantage. This is a possibility. I mean, you can. This is one of the reasons as to why you can develop a cotton industry in Pakistan, because you have the raw material available. You don't have to depend on any other country to import the raw materials. All right. All right, so now, guys, what are the disadvantages? If we develop a cotton textile industry in Pakistan, how will that contribute negatively to the country? Shortage of water reduces the raw material for cotton industry. That is a valid point. We cannot establish these industries in areas with water scarcity, or in seasons with less rainfall, it will be difficult to generate raw material for this industry. Lack of capital for other industries, yes, okay. You could maybe say disparity between the division of capital. If you invest all of the capital on this industry, you may ignore some of the very important other industries such as the cement industry, sugar industry. Um, we need further mechanization, modernization, yes. As Pakistan is a developing country, so it does not have enough resources to develop industries. That is a problem. That is not a disadvantage. Guys, remember to understand the difference between possibilities and advantages and problems and disadvantages. Heavy rain can destroy cotton balls. Okay. Lower output of labor since they're not skilled. All right. Lack of education, lack of money to invest, old machinery, power shortage, poor roads and railways, less connectivity, strong competition with South Korea, Egypt, Taiwan, Hong Kong. Yes, that is a very valid point, because we're already in a region with a very strong competition from these countries. They're also cotton producing regions, South Korea, Egypt, Taiwan, Hong Kong. So the reason, I mean, we will have to match their standards to stand out, maybe. Okay. This is one of the reasons as to why it's maybe better to invest in an industry that is particularly our, you could say, we were best at. Yeah. Child labor, environmental issues make it difficult for us to develop this industry. जब भी trade sanctions लग जाएंगी तो फिर फायदा क्या होगा industry develop करने का. Yeah. All right, guys. So you see this picture over here, this diagram. This is one of the cotton textile industries in Faisalabad. You see how ideal this place is, because it is connected with a road through railway. There is a river, there's a thermal power plant, there's an airport, there's a dry port. Yeah, there are irrigated lands all around. The raw material is easily available. So this picture basically indicates how Faisalabad is an ideal location for the development of cotton textile industry. All right, guys. Now let me know if there's any question from the cotton industry, because we're going to move on to the cement industry now. Any questions so far? No? Should we move on? All right.
Sir,
Yeah,
do we have to remember the areas where the cotton industries are present?
some of them, yes, some major areas. You can maybe remember the names of some important cities like Hyderabad, Faisalabad, Karachi. Amna, what do you want me to repeat?
Sir,
Yes.
is there any cotton industry in Rawalpindi or Islamabad?
Around Rawalpindi and Islamabad, not really. She guys. There is a textile industry, yes. There's one textile mill in, it's not exactly in Rawalpindi, but it's around, if you head towards this, the Peshawar road side, there's this Kohinoor Textile Mills Limited over there. And obviously it's not one of the major contributors to the textile outputs of the country, because obviously it's far from the farmlands. It's Rawalpindi, considering the cotton industries, is not a major city for the production of cotton as well. All right, but yes, there is one. It's in the outskirts of Rawalpindi. Yeah. Okay. So, जी आमना, what do you want me to repeat it? आपने बार बार लिखे जा रही हैं, लेकिन मुझे, can you tell me the topic or the question that you want me to repeat?
Sir, I was saying that I can't get what you were saying. I didn't hear you.
Anything at all?
There's nothing. Yes, I don't have to ask anything. I was asking that what you were saying because I didn't
So
hear.
what I was saying right now, I was just asking if you guys are clear or not. We're going to move on to the next industry now.
It's clear.
All right, thank you. Guys, so the cement industry now. Cement industry is also a very important industrial sector of the country. किसने question marks भेजे? किसी का question miss तो नहीं कर दिया मैंने? Isha, do you have a question? Ji, please let me know.
Sir, can you please explain the cotton making through diagram?
Sorry, come again.
Cotton making process through diagram.
Cotton making process, that is irrelevant. You don't need to know the cotton making process. Just have to, okay, what you can do here is, you see, you can just know the names of the processes. Nobody's going to ask you about the details.
Don't we have to label these processes on the diagram?
No, not really. Wait.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Spinning, weaving, bleaching, dyeing. देखो spinning होता है, obviously, you should just know a little bit about these processes, what they are, but the details, कि कौन सी machines क्या कर रही हैं, don't have to go into those details. Spinning है, weaving है, bleaching, dyeing, cutting, stitching, packing, इनको तो नामों से आपको पता लग जाता है ना? Yeah, so you won't be asked anything other than the names or a little bit about what these processes are. ठीक है? That's it. Beginning भी है इसमें. Yes. Okay. Guys, I was saying cement industry is also a very, very important industrial sector of Pakistan. Why? Because the construction industry is forever booming in Pakistan because of all the economic development that is taking place, the urbanization, the expansion of the urban colonies, the housing colonies that you see being constructed every day. So this industry is forever booming. And this is one of the reasons as to why the demand of cement continues to increase. Okay. Pakistan has a good availability of raw material, limestone and gypsum that are used to produce cement. There is a good domestic market. and high demand from the construction industry. Yeah, this is another reason as to why this industry keeps on booming. And natural gas is used as a cheap fuel for this industry, and it's also available in Pakistan. Although it is a fossil fuel and it is a non-renewable energy resource, but because our industries unfortunately depend on these fossil fuels, and we are just using those. All right. So now, it's just a second. Okay. Let's look at this industry as a system. Natural and physical inputs. Again, you need the raw material. You need a flat land available for the production, for the development of this industry. As far as human factors are concerned, you need capital, labor, machinery, power, technology, efficient transport, skills, and packing materials. Transportation is very, very important because cement is a bulky transport and it needs to be transported to all the parts of Pakistan. It is not specific to any certain area. Construction is everywhere, all right? So no matter where the industry is, you will have to export the products to all across, all right? Grinding, heating, mixing, and packing are the processes. The outputs are cement, precast cement blocks, bricks, slabs, yeah, and cement powder. Precast cemented क्या होता है आजकल the construction industry uses these already prefabricated construction materials जिसमें you already somehow, for example, let's say if if a roofing is to take place for a building, all right, so the precast slabs would already be made at an industry by using cement and they'll be just transported to the area. So because this industry is growing every day, these technologies, these new types of you could say advancements are taking place every day, all right. With that, let's move on to, okay, this is a sort of how the process takes place at a cement industry. All right. If you look at the process from the beginning, just a second. I think there's a question. Gee, Abdurrahman, shale is a rock. Okay. It's basically a porous rock, and you can break it down into simpler substances to produce clear mud. All right, it's a construction material basically. So this process, you basically add all the raw materials and they basically go through a rotary kiln which basically mixes the materials. You would have seen this sort of a, how do I say, a rotary kiln alongside the construction sites as well, but it's a large scale kiln is present in the industries. Yeah. Then you provide the fuel, which is coal or natural gas, and then some more raw material in forms of the minerals, calcium, sulfate, gypsum. Yeah. And after further mixing, you get the cement. We're just going through this process very generally. All right. In terms of the raw materials that you need and the processes that take place generally. All right. Okay, explain the importance of 3 human inputs at a cement factory. We already know the infrastructure, electricity, road, railway transport. You need good telecommunication facilities for sales. You need capital for investment. All right. Why is there a large demand for cement in Pakistan? Gee, guys, here's an open question for everyone. We've already discussed this, by the way. Why do you think is the demand for cement increasing in Pakistan? So all the students who have been silent here, guys, come on, speak up.
For the construction of buildings.
For the construction of buildings. Okay, that is right. Yes, these are the past paper questions. High rate of construction. Yes. More construction work for development housing societies. Yeah. Pakistan में एक ही तो काम चल रहा है. And urbanization. Yeah. It's when you talk about buildings, do refer to certain specific buildings, schools, offices, hospitals, factories. If you talk about the transportation infrastructure, talk about railways, bridges. Yeah, dams, canals. अब तो पाकिस्तान में तो dams भी इतने ज़्यादा बन रहे हैं because of the water shortage. Yeah. And then it is a developing country, yes. So there is a lot of construction going on. Insufficient steel, but huge deposits of limestone to make cement. Yes, that is also right. Or steel के लिए we at times depend on the imports. Yeah. All right, guys. Be sure to explain these reasons and develop them properly. Now we have this map here. The distribution of cement. There's this okay. So guys, this map over here explains the distribution of cement industries in Pakistan. So the cities are already written. So how would you describe the distribution of this industry here?
Mostly in Punjab and KPK, and then a few as well in Sindh.
Mostly in Punjab and KPK. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Anything else, guys?
There is not a single industry in Balochistan
Okay. And why is that so?
due to scarcity of water.
हर चीज में हम scarcity water ले आते हैं. ठीक है, बिल्कुल सही है. Right. Anything else, guys?
But so if it's about scarcity of water, then how come there isn't any in Azad Kashmir?
Because of the topography of that area.
Oh, okay. Because it's
It's
at a
difficult
high
to-
altitude.
Exactly. It's difficult to build a factory over there. You won't see any industry in Azad Kashmir or the northern areas. Yes, rain affects cotton. Yes, you're right. Heavy rainfall, heavy snow can definitely affect cotton. Essentially, cotton is mostly grown in these areas with a moderate to hotter climate. Cotton पे कहाँ से आ गए? हम लोग तो cement discuss कर रहे थे. Balochistan, there's none in Balochistan due to less limestone reserves. I don't think so, Abdul Rahman, because we do have some limestone reserves in Balochistan. You can simply talk about water, okay? I mean, Balochistan it has the most limestone reserves, you know. If you see, I'm forgetting the exact figure. Again, most of these minerals are extracted from Balochistan. So don't go for this point. All right. वो अलग बात है कि we haven't explored those resources yet. Yeah, for example, you see natural gas, 70% of Pakistan's natural gas is supplied from Balochistan. Similarly, limestone, I don't think it's explored really well, but the reserves are definitely there. The greatest number of reserves of limestone are there in Balochistan. Okay. Kashan, which point do you want me to repeat?
Sir, about the distribution of cement factories in Pakistan.
Okay, yeah, we're
What are you
discussing
saying?
that.
Can you please
Yes.
repeat?
Yes. So we're saying that most of the industries are there in Punjab and Sindh. You do have to write a few names when you talk about that. A few are in KPK because of the terrain, because of the topography of the area, and there is none in Balochistan due to the scarcity of water. And you may talk about how the policies are not favorable. The situation is unstable because of the conflicts over there, and the governments maybe are not interested in funding the industries in Balochistan. So this is why there are no cement factories in Balochistan. Maybe no limestone gypsum. This is not a valid point, guys. Please disregard this one. There is no, you can say less extraction of limestone or gypsum, but the reserves are there, all right? Mining is difficult due to the mountains, due to topography, low rainfall, lack of water, transport problems, all right?
But sir, in Balochistan, there are lots of resources, you know.
वही मैं कह रहा हूँ ना, reserves are there, but exploitation is less.
Yeah.
Okay. So guys, with that, okay, we're ending the topic here. Please let me know if there is any question. Isha, about your question, this was a map specific question because there was no industry given over here in the map, the cement factory that you're talking about, you cannot refer to that. Okay, you had to stick to the map, the information given in that map. Okay. All right, guys, let me know if there's any question before we end the class. Yes, the lectures will be uploaded today. I can only upload this lecture and the yesterday's class. It'll be there on the drive right after this lesson. So anyone, I mean, if you want to access the lectures, you can request access to the Google Drive. That Google Drive is, again, guys, it's linked to the Google Classroom, and you can only be a part of the Google Classroom once you confirm your enrollment, or you can contact the administration for that. All right, so we will be having a test tomorrow from history, the Ministry of Ziaul Haq. So guys, please be prepared. The test will be uploaded in Google Classroom for the students who are there in the classroom. And I will also be sending a test document in the WhatsApp exactly at 2 p.m. tomorrow. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.